All right, here we are on the passenger side, very similar to the other side, except it's got a couple weird things. So here we are. We start off by taking off this 10mm bolt that's coming off, it's attached to something off this huge tube here. So we do that, we take that off, and he's gone now. And now we also want to loosen up the air filter bolt here. It's also 10mm as well. I don't take this one out on this side. Really, I found out that you can just kind of just be able to move it around a little bit, and that gives us enough leeway to pull off that tube. You don't have to pull it actually out this time. So we're taking that out, loosening up the two bolts. Here's the 8mm bolt and the other one right up there to get this tube out of our way. There it is, the 8mm. We're getting on that. And just loosen them up, and that allows us to pull off this one side, and then we're going to pull off the other side. Now, this is still actually attached. You can see here with the tube here. We don't need to take off anything else. We just need to move this thing out of our way. And so here are the three coils or spark plugs that we're going to be changing here on the right-hand side. That's towards the front of the car, and then as we move, it's under, like, this one is like pretty tough to get to. This one gets crazy, and that was just, you'll never get to it unless you do a whole bunch of other stuff. So let's go ahead and start trying to get to this first one. Well, this first one's got a huge tube right in our way, and we need to basically take off one of the tubes from that. Now, here is what it looks like kind of from stepping back a little bit to see where you are. And so you've got to be able to move some of these wires. Now, you don't have to detach them or cut these zip ties or any sort of stupid thing like that. Unless you love wasting your time and, I don't know, showing off or something, which I don't do either. So I'm just going to unbolt this 10mm bolt. I call it the 3 bolt with the arrow here. It's got, you see this little 3 here. And so once I take that off, it allows me to move the whole bracket with all these wires just enough. And that's all I need. Why would I do anything more? So here we are. Here is the tube that we're going to take apart. We just need to unclamp it to get that one thing out of our way. This is the only tube that we'll take apart or take out on this side. And so there is our first spark plug coil again. There's its bolt, a little 10mm bolt, and there it is. So this moves one of the things out of our way. And so now I can kind of get to it. But there's all these wires here. Let's take apart the entire car and show off. No. How about we just take that off and then just give it a little wiggle, and then just pull it out anyway. So that's all I needed to do there. Again, same process of unscrewing the spark plug, thread greasing up the new one, putting it back in, and all that kind of good stuff. Same things that you did on the first 3. So that's just how to get to that first one. The second one is impossible unless you take off the 4 screws that are holding on this metal tube holder thing. I am a professional mechanic. Now, let's see here. Once we get that taken off, again, we don't need to take off anything else. We just need to move it out of our way. And voila. Here is spark plug coil number 2. And there is the third one. All is revealed. So once we got that out of our way, we're just taking out that bolt. And we're going to, there's this little wiring harness. We're going to take that out too. Swap that cord out, or that plug out, and then boom, now you can see where I've taken out the third one. This one's a little tricky to get to. You just need to, be crafty with your fingers. Get it in there, You got it. So anyway, I just replace all those, and now it's time to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. And here I'm getting ready to put this thing onto the little orangey thing there, and you can see a little bit clearer down there with those other cables, or the plugs rather. So there I am putting it back. I've not put any screws in yet. Now I have, and so need to make sure that you replace that one hose that we had unclamped earlier. And now we're going to put back on the big tube and just tighten up those bolts. We got to get that other side first though, so let's go ahead and get that done. And so there's the other bolt on the towards the front of the car. And don't forget your 3 arrow bolt, and so your wires don't bounce around when you're driving. And put in that other bolt that we started off with, taking apart. That comes off of this big tube. He's right there. And then we screw back in our air filter bolt and tighten back the other 8mm bolt on the big tube there, and the other, tighten up the other one. Don't forget that one. And that is it. Put your engine cover back on, your battery terminal, your negative battery terminal back on, and you know, drive around forever and ever.